Joao Pedro
Joao
to Chelsea. Why? Because Nicholas Jackson cannot make it. Joao Pedro is definitely going to be a better strike option for Chelsea than Nicholas Jackson.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Football Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Podcast Network. I am your host, Elder, and I'm joined by my fellow Kaki Bro, Paul. And today we have a brand new Kaki Bro, a special guest, a fellow podcaster, a passionate Man United fan who has also gone through the pain of being a United fan with both me and Paul in this past year, right? Please give a warm Football Kaki welcome to Joel from the A.O.S podcast. Yes.
Hey,
welcome, bro.
Thanks, Eldad and Paul. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
So how have you been, bro?
Yeah. How have I been? That's a good question. I mean, the season's over, right? So at least that's a bit of a relief, lah.
Oh, tell the both of us, bro.
There have been more relief, right? When the
it's a good break, lah. But I guess I think all of us are just looking forward to next season, right?
Yeah.
Are we really?
Well, you got to look forward.
Yeah, true. I think we just want to see like EPL start again, and then
we just want to see that little bit of improvement from United. That's all. I don't think at this juncture we are expecting that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even think we are really expecting a lot, right? But like the thing is, the whole dynamic about United is that we're always a talking point, lah. So no matter what,
we are never ignored, right?
Yeah. Well, right. We're always a talking point, right? But like, I just want to ask, right, Joel, like, since like it's well known that you're a United fan, so I want to know, right, like, how did you actually like become a United fan?
Okay, interesting. So we all grew up in the 90s, right? And 90s was the start of the English Premier League as we know now, and United having won the first English Premier League, right?
Yes.
That already caught some attention, but I was still very young at that point of time, still trying to find out, which club is what, Interestingly, it was the season where they lost against Blackburn.
94-95.
Yeah, that kind of solidified that, hey, this is my team. Because we cannot keep winning, right? Yeah, so we are still like, there's still that little bit to improve. And then the next season, right, we won the double.
Yep.
Yeah, we came back with the Beckham and the Nevilles and all that. Then, sad already. That was it. Yeah.
No, but it's interesting though, like, because for like a lot of like United fans, right, our memory is like of us winning something, or like you see something spectacular, right? But like, it's kind of unique that the thing that solidified you as a United fan was them losing a title that year.
Because it hurts, right? And if it hurts, it means that the team means something to you.
Yes.
That's how I kind of link it together, right? And know that, why am I feeling so sad? Because this is my team.
Yeah, correct.
Then already, you definitely know that United was the one.
Yeah. I think like for me, I think Paul can also add on to this, right? Like for me, there was this old like videotape, like when there was like the VCR or like those stuff, like the old tapes, right? Like there was one video where it was like 300 or 500 United Premier League goals or something like that, right? And then the first goal I saw, I remember my dad put it in the video, right? And the first goal I saw, right, was David Beckham blasting the ball into the net from the halfway line.
1996.
1996. Then I was like, at the time I was like a kid like that. Right? I was just like, what is this? Who is this guy that tried to do that? So ever since then, right, like David Beckham was my favorite player.
Right.
For a prolonged period of time. So that was what got me hooked. Like, I don't know, like, Paul, I think we never shared how you became a Man United fan, Paul. What's the moment?
I didn't witness the Blackburn and the 1996 yet, because I think I was a bit that was like an infant, actually. For me,
I might have gave my age away.
You gave mine away also.
Mine was it's just like basically how most United fans are on 1999 season, really. I think I was like in just before I went primary school, that era, So I think,
Was it the treble?
Comeback against Bayern Munich,
the Bayern Munich one, lah.
Yeah, correct.
But I think like
okay lah. I think quite sick lah. This team.
I think like for us, right, that 98-99 season was something that I think all of us will never forget. Even until now, right? I will never ever forget that like particular season. Joel, what do you remember of like 1999?
What I remembered, back then as a kid, going through that 98-99 season, right? It's like a very momentum kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know that, I start winning my games, or not say winning games, not losing.
Yes.
Right? You go through game after game after game and then say, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year. And then it kind of like the penultimate match just kind of just completed the whole thing.
Yes.
It was like a fairy tale kind of thing. But as an adult, now I'm looking back, right, on that particular season, we were actually very lucky because our win percentage is actually not very high in the Champions League. Yeah, so you can see it in very many different ways, but during that year, we are all in it, you see.
Yeah.
We were blind. Right. We don't care. We just go all the way. That's all that mattered.
Yeah.
At that time we're not like how we are now, like we so into tactics, player for player, who does what, it's just like we just watch the game and see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
And we know that just chong only, we sure can score.
Sure can score, yeah.
It was like you expect, like as a United fan, you expected a goal last minute, or expected us to try to like get something. It's like fight all the way into the end until
it's either you hantam the team 4-0, 5-0, or or
you score last
if
minute.
it's or you score last minute.
It was a wonderful season, but I think like even now, right, like it also reminds me of like how different football was like like then and now, right? Because like even like today when we're talking about transfers, which we'll get into later, right? Like a lot of transfers now, right, or like even players, right, they're very tactical based. Whereas like I remember watching a documentary where Sir Alex would pick a player based on the character of the person rather than the capability, because he knew that like he could get more out of a player with good character rather than a player who had bad character but got good ability lah. So I think even when we're talking about transfers, like it's slightly different. It's different. It's a different generation altogether. It's a different like ball game now already lah.
Agree. Yes, but well, there's always that traditionalist, right?
Yeah.
You look at the last few transfers that United have, right? Yeah, brilliantly technically good, but the attitude a bit like now they are on the way out. So there's no longevity if your attitude is not there.
Yeah, I agree. With that, right, that brings us to what this episode is today. So we have Joel as a special guest. So the focus is on him today. Very simple. He has brought us what we call like his current at the moment best 5 transfers, right? But I want to clarify. I want to ask, bro, is this in order from best to like the top 5 from first to fifth, or is it like no particular order?
Okay, so first and foremost, before I really go into the 5 that I picked out, right?
Yeah.
I've purposely excluded the obvious ones. Cunha, Florian Wirtz. Yeah, because there's nothing else to talk about it.
Yes.
We all know, right? So what my picks are based on what I think are really awesome buys, very good for value buys, and how it will impact the team that they join.
I think it's cool also because like having something that's a bit different from the obvious. I think like United, everybody knew United's going to get Cunha. Then Wirtz was going to go to Liverpool, and like all these different big transfers, right? But talking about maybe the lesser known transfers or maybe the ones that flew a bit more under the radar, I think that's a good thing that we can like really focus on and dwell on into this episode. So with that, let's dive right into today's episode. Now, just before we dive into the main portion of this week's Football Kaki episode, we would first like to take this moment to thank our sponsor for this week, Interdesk.
Now, are you tired of working from home on a loose, low-quality table you bought online with no reviews? It's time for an upgrade. Meet Interdesk. With Interdesk, you get a custom table in over 20 colors and there's no extra charge. Tailor your desk length, width, and even thickness right down to the centimeter. Whether you need a compact 80 by 50 cm desk for a new BTO flat or a spacious 200 by 80 cm workspace for gaming or productivity, Interdesk fits perfectly. You can even add custom gourmet hosts anywhere on your table for seamless cable management. Your desk, your way.
Starting at just $249, Interdesk is making custom desks affordable for everyone. But wait, there's more. Interdesk is launching exciting new products including premium ergonomic chairs, L-shaped adjustable desks, and stunning epoxy and natural wood desks. Gamers, check out the new Interdesk Ultra featuring dual motor technology, an integrated cable tray, and ultra-fast adjustment speeds of 80 mm per second. Want to see these amazing desks in person? Visit Interdesk at the Sustainable Smart Home Living Fair 2025 in Expo Hall 6 from the 12th to the 20th of July. Find them at Booth C15.
What are you waiting for? Let's throw out that old table and upgrade your workspace today. You can head to the Interdesk website via the description box right now. Once again, thank you to our sponsor for this week's episode, Interdesk.
Without further ado, let's get right into the episode. To begin the list of 5, Joel, please let us know who is the first transfer that you want to discuss or that is on your list.
All right. So the first name on my list is Joao Pedro to
Joao
Chelsea. Why? Because Nicholas Jackson cannot make it. Joao Pedro is definitely going to be a better strike option for Chelsea than Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, that's just basically it. Very straightforward. And anyone who comes from Brighton is of good value.
That is actually true. That is true.
I always feel that way.
Interesting, right? Because like when I saw this, I was like thinking like, are you picking this because he's gonna start over Nicholas Jackson? So I wanted to ask you this, right? But you answered the question before I even asked last.
I definitely think so. I definitely think that Nicholas Jackson right now I don't think he's gonna start every match already.
The only thing I can think of, right, is that they bought another striker before Joao Pedro. They actually bought Leon Delap first.
Yes. So that being said, right, I was actually deciding between Leon Delap and Joao Pedro, but I think Joao Pedro to me is a bit more proven. Delap has only one season in the EPL.
Yes.
No doubt he's shown, flashes of brilliance lah. Yeah. And I think Delap's style is a bit more of the traditional old English centre forward kind. Big, strong, tall. But Joao Pedro is a bit more skillful. I think he will edge out my transfer choice lah. If you're talking about Chelsea lah. But yes, with the two of them there, Nicholas Jackson is not going to start.
Confirm one. I mean, like, Nicholas Jackson, his biggest issue is that he's too inconsistent. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's just like, it's like the extremities for good and bad is too far apart already.
Yeah. He reminds me a bit of Darwin Núñez. Sometimes very, very good. Sometimes he just kena the
just too inconsistent. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he hit the wall 4 times in one game. Darwin Núñez.
Oh yes.
In the game.
With right foot, left foot header.
The perfect.
Perfect combo.
And penalty.
Penalty.
Yeah. And penalty.
But it's good. I think it's a good. It's a solid purchase, and I think he came in the middle of the Club World Cup, so I think he's supplementing them now. I think it's quite a good move lah. Considering that each round Chelsea progresses, right? They essentially pay off his transfer by the prize money.
Yeah.
I agree. So I think
then they've gotten to the semi-finals already, like Chelsea. So, but Joe, before we move on to like the next one, I want to ask, right, because his goal tally at Brighton, right, it's not been like exorbitantly high. Like his average maybe about 10 to 9 goals per season in the Premier League, right? But I just want to ask, right, like with Neto, with Hammer, right, don't you think like he'll get more goals because the service quality probably would have been improved? Or do you think that maybe that is where his cap could be, or he brings other things to Chelsea?
I think he really brings other things to Chelsea. He's basically playing in that role or trying to do the things that Nicholas Jackson cannot do.
Yeah.
Had Nicholas Jackson like converted or whatever chances he had, right?
Yeah.
That is what Joao Pedro is brought in to do.
Yeah.
So that there is not so much like dependency on Cole Palmer, Neto, and like the rest of the other people who have been like pulling their weight lah.
Yeah. Understand. That's very fair. That's very fair. So I think like I do think this is actually a good transfer. Providing what they have now, right? And the fact that like the lab and Pedro, I think they're brought in to supplement one another, more or less, rather than like to have like one sole primary starter, which with Nicholas Jackson it kind of failed miserably. So with that, right, João Pedro is the first on the list. What is your second transfer on your list?
Second transfer, because I'm a United fan, but again I already said I will exclude Cunha, is Diego Leon. We kind of like concluded this transfer like I think a year ago, but he just came in on the 1st of July, right? So we don't know much about him. We only know that he plays left back.
Yeah.
Left back spot for us is in a dire situation. Luke Shaw is not a viable option anymore. And the thing that he said when he was first interviewed, right, really impressed me lah. He said that, what's this whole thing about going out on loan? No, I'm going to kill it in preseason. That is the kind of attitude and mentality that we were all talking about earlier, right? Yeah. That kind of, I want to make this my place in my team.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think for a very long while we don't have this kind of players.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Paul, your thoughts?
Bro, the first thing I saw that interview that Joel was talking about. So I think it's you just want to see fighters actually. Like there's this thing about United players over the past 2-3 seasons not giving heart, not giving spirit, all this, right? It's like we have go down until so low, right, that we just want to see players work hard. That is like our standard, But okay, I think that we've been crying out for a left back for quite a while, right? But it just give me this kind of like Marcos Rojo vibes, left back can play maybe centre back kind of thing. But
he actually gives me more of like the Patrice Evra kind of vibe.
Yeah,
but he's fast, strong.
Yeah, I think anything other than Luke Shaw will be good lah. Really. Yeah. And Malaysia. Yeah, don't get me started on Malaysia.
No, bro. Diogo Dalot. Don't get me started on Diogo Dalot.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, bro, like me and Paul have this thing, right, where like if we feel that the player is already out of the thing, right, we don't call them by the name, we call them by the number. So we've been referring to like Dalot as like 20, Rashford as 10, or like Lindelof as 2.
Oh my god. You guys are also quite brutal.
Oh, bro, we are brutal one. I think he's worse than me, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think Diego Leon, I think quite a good purchase. I think we didn't get
and he's not expensive.
Yeah, he was
not
not
expensive.
He's not.
So yeah, that's why he makes it into my list lah.
But I wanted to ask, right, like because he's so young, he's 18 years old, right? And is there something that I think maybe for us as United fans, because we always have this tendency in recent years to put players so high on a pedestal, right, that maybe they just don't like achieve what they expected. Do we give him a bit of benefit of doubt for maybe like a period? Because I expect like, because he's 18, right, he probably will storm out the gates, right, but I do expect maybe some teething problems, like maybe for a period of time. So I'm not sure, like, what do you guys like think about that?
Honestly, right now, to me, it's like a blank sheet. We haven't really seen him play yet. Like it's like when Malaysia just came, we were so hyped, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we have to really take stock of our expectations, which is actually, to be honest, not much. But like I said again, at least the attitude is there.
Yeah.
That one is the bare minimum. So if let's say he plays well, have a string of games that he can show that he can actually contribute, right, in some ways. I don't think he's going to get thrown into the first 11, but for those games, for what it's worth, if he has that kind of potential that otherwise he won't be signed, right, and he shows that kind of potential on the pitch, then okay lah, good lah.
Fair point. I think for me, it's more to do with like, I'm just glad we have a hardworking and a guy that wants to give everything that he has lah, especially at left back, because there have been so many situations last year where I publicly criticized them for saying like, hey, where's the effort? Like, where's the sense of urgency? Where's the team? Nobody's running here and there, right? So bringing in young talent, right, is they want it. Yeah. And like, I think you guys saw the quote his father said. Like, his father said, like, don't mess with me. Like, take this seriously. Make sure that for the 4 years that you're there, make something out of yourself, lah. I'm excited to see what happens, but from my experience, right, I also don't want to put him too high on a pedestal, lah. It's just to be like, okay, like, I'm just gonna like go with wherever it goes, lah. So, Diego Leon is the second transfer. Moving to the third transfer, Joel, what is the next transfer on the list?
Okay, so for number 3, right, I have to go and do a bit of research how to pronounce his name. So it's pronounced as Kevin Kelleher.
Kelleher.
Liverpool backup keeper, right? So he's going to Brentford. I think it's an absolute awesome pickup. He, as a backup keeper, I think John from AOS podcast, we all talked about how Kelleher was actually, or rather did a very good job when Alisson was out injured.
Yes.
Right? He has what it takes to perform at the EPL level.
Yes.
Just that because of Alisson, he cannot play week in, week out, lah. Yeah, and it's a waste, lah. It's a waste. And we actually kind of predicted that Kelleher would leave.
Yeah.
And it happened. And okay, lah, Brentford is, they're picking up a very good player after, previously David Raya was playing for them, right? And they lost a good keeper. Now I think they have a good keeper coming in for them.
Yeah, it's because this Eric Ten Hag went to buy Mark Flecken.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're really desperately crying out for like a good, solid, proven EPL keeper. So I think not many teams have good second choice keepers. I think Liverpool is definitely one of them. So I think Kelleher is awesome pickup. Yeah. I quite cheap. I think like 14 million only.
Good value. Very, very good value.
Very good value. Right.
For that kind of standard. Yeah.
Yes. I agree. Like, in terms of for Liverpool, right, where the standard is so high, and essentially I think people would say that Alisson's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the past like couple of years already, lah. Him and Courtois were up there, lah. So the fact that as a Liverpool number 2, right, the amount of trust that the defense has with him and his capability to be able to know that, okay, Alisson's out, but he can do the job, is something that I think speaks volumes about him as a player and as like his capabilities. So when this happened, I was like, don't they have Flecken? Then I was like, oh yeah, Flecken left.
Yeah. So there was this ongoing banter going around with the boys at AOS, right? And say like, Alisson is injured, then Kelleher is playing. Is it? Yeah, Kelleher is doing a way better job than Onana, man.
Bro, anyone is doing 19 of the goalkeepers doing better than Onana.
Oh my goodness. So like, so yes, Kelleher is definitely a stand-up keeper, lah.
Yeah, I agree. It's like he finally got his chance to be like a number 1.
Yeah.
So
he deserves it, lah.
Yeah. I will not speak about Andre Onana. I will leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that, lah. But I do agree that he is a great pickup for Brentford, because they got, I think if you were to compare Flecken to Kelleher, I think they got an upgrade.
Yeah.
Like 100%, I think they got an upgrade in terms of capability, and it's an opportunity that was due to him for a long time already. So he finally got it. Yeah. So that is the third transfer. How do I pronounce his first name again?
Quevin
Kelleher. The pronunciation and the letters don't align.
It sounds So it's actually what I read was it's a Gaelic version of Kevin. So Quevin Kelleher. Yeah, have to do a bit of research, lah. Otherwise, we mispronounce names on the show. It's not nice, right?
It will be like in Chinese, it will be Kao Mi Hin Kelleher. In the most Chinese pronunciation, lah. So I'm glad that we got it correct. So it's Quevin Kelleher. I tried to pronounce it as correctly. I think not as good as Joel, but we shall move on. So next, fourth transfer on the list.
Okay, the fourth one is not exactly what I would say like best buy, good buy, but I find that this is really one for the future.
Understand.
So it's Yoon Do-young, moving to Brighton from the K-League. We may not have heard of him. I definitely have not heard of him, but from what I know, right, he is an attacking midfielder / winger, very much like Mitoma. So many years ago, we did not heard of Mitoma before, and suddenly he just burst on the scene. And I feel that with Yoon Do-young And also with, recently, I think Japanese and Korean players have been seeing this increase in their stock in EPL. They've proven that we can play in this league, right?
Yeah.
So Yoon Do-young right now, I think he's about 18 years old, so a very young guy. He probably will go out on loan. But I think in a few years' time, if he's still in Brighton, right? Brighton always have this knack of picking up gems.
Yes, that's true.
You flip them for like 10 times.
It may flip or they may do well for Brighton, but long and short of it, I feel like this is one of the pickups to really watch in the next few years.
Yoon Do-young.
Yeah.
Never heard of
Any
him.
thoughts?
But I agree with what you said. You said on the Korean players making a mark in not just EPL, I think European football also. So the Kim Min-jae and Kang In-lee, right, in PSG.
Lee Kang-in.
Lee Kang-in.
So I think quite.
They are making their mark. Right? They're making a mark because like 10, 15, 20 years ago, we don't see any of these. Park Ji-sung was the first Korean to play in EPL, and after that there were so many more.
Yes.
Song Heung-min, don't need to say, right? It's already legendary status at Spurs already.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, I would really see and foresee that more of these Asian players will slowly make their way to EPL also.
Yeah. I do agree because like Park Ji-sung opened the way for a lot of Korean players to move into the European football scene because as high a profile as he was being the national team captain, right, he did well at Man United, which already is something else already. So like for somebody like Yoon Do-young, it's understandable that he's not really been heard of because he's only been playing in Korea but he's 18 only. So there's a very, very big upside. So if he does well, definitely there'll be a demand for him already. And generally, most Korean players do actually tend to do well in the Premier League. Just somehow lah.
So I was reading his profile, and like just now I mentioned, he was in a very similar mold to Mitoma. So I also feel like that is also kind of a backup plan. Mitoma is also not say very young.
Yeah.
He's approaching like 30s already, 29, 30 years old. So that could possibly be, the Mitoma number 2 lah.
Korea Japanese.
Korea Japanese lah. I mean, if he were ever just even becomes like maybe like 50 to 60% of what Song Heung-min is, right? I think it's a very good thing already lah. It's a solid thing. I hope he does well because there's a high level of like upside to this rather than like there is a downside to this lah. So now we're done with number 4, which is Yoon Do-young. Now we're down to the last one. The last one on this list. Joel, what is the last transfer that you have?
My last one and the final one will be Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yes, we all are Man United fans, but you cannot deny that this is a great pickup.
Oh, 100%.
I was telling you that the whole of last season. Some EPL team will pick him up for sure, and then it had to be Liverpool lah.
The thing is, Liverpool acted very fast, right? That's one thing. Number 2 is that they also realized that how long more can we depend on Robertson on the left side, right? Robertson is already 31, I think.
Yes.
So Kerkez is 21. He's like a whole 10 years younger. Can run faster, longer. Endurance is better. So it's, to me, it's an upgrade lah on the left side.
And proven in the EPL. Right.
Yeah. I agree. Like Paul, your thoughts? Because you were raving about Kerkez like last season.
I was raving since like the start of last season, or like even before that. Yeah, I think like what he said it's a best value for purchase, and it's a position that they need so badly.
Yes.
Actually, there's one more he didn't say. Actually, both their right and left side, they refreshed both their left and right side. So, but we're talking about Kerkez now, right? For someone who is like so young and proven in the EPL, so many left backs have failed in the EPL.
Yes.
Like, I think Tomiyasu, all this also is like gone already. Actually.
Yeah, he's leaving Arsenal already.
He cancelled his contract, I think. Yeah. So I think for someone at left back, so at that age, it only fits like that he plays well in a big team lah, for sure.
Yep.
Proven.
Yep. So there you go. That's my 5.
No, I think like with Kerkez, right, it's something that Liverpool address swiftly and quickly because it was well needed. It's like with Trent leaving to go to Real Madrid, and then with Robertson getting older already, right? Like just having a new injected blood, right? That is leaps and bounds over Tsimikas. I mean, Tsimikas, as good as he's been as a backup left back to Robertson, right? He is not. He's not Kakas level.
He's bang average at best, lah.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
He's like a good filler to have at the point when you need somebody to fill in the space when Robertson's down or you want to give Robertson a rest, right? But he's not the guy that you will say, okay, I'm going to replace Robertson with him.
Yeah.
And I think Kakas is like that. And the fact that like he performed so well at Bournemouth, and Bournemouth was technically overperforming most of their matches last year already, right? So the fact that he's taken this opportunity, right? I just hope this kid does well. Yeah. Because if he does well, and with the right side, now they got Frimpong.
Yeah. It's actually very scary, It's very scary, Kerkez on the left and Frimpong on the right? Then you still got your Van Dijk.
In the middle. Salah and they bought what words?
They bought words. I'm like,
the important thing is they kept Van Dijk and Salah.
Yes.
Van Dijk and Salah, yes, they kept, still very much part of the plan, but they are getting on age. But I think we cannot discount people like McAllister, Gravenberch.
Yes.
Very, very
Luis
key
Diaz.
players for Luis Diaz. He doesn't play every match, but I think he will come in and have that spark, add a bit of spark. But
yes,
Liverpool, I think if last season they won the league, right? This season they are in very prime position with all the acquisitions that they have got, lah.
Yes, and I think right, it's good dealings, right? Because they took Wirtz and Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah, so it's very rare that you buy two players from the same club to transfer to another team. So, like, adding this, right, was something that I think I didn't really see coming. I thought it would probably maybe be like later down the road, but the fact that they did it already and they did it quickly, like you said, that it's just
I'm super quick, man. I'm actually very, very jealous, lah.
Yeah. You got the right people doing the job.
Yes, bro. I agree.
Though it was a bit expensive for Wirtz, but I think it's the fact is that speed is everything now.
Yes.
The quicker you do things, right, the easier it is to get everything settled, and then you can move on and get the momentum that you need. Yeah,
I agree. And like Liverpool currently, right, they've always had attacking wingbacks. So now you've got Kerkez and Frimpong, right? It's another two attacking wingbacks, and they're faster and they're younger and they're quicker. So it basically just gives like Salah more liberty to move around. And I said this to Paul last year, right, regarding Liverpool. They were on like speed 100 with Klopp, right, for so long that when they came to slot, right, it was at speed 80%, but because 80% is just a lot slower and they process everything so much faster, right? To them, it's just like easy mode. It's like, okay, I just move the ball. Yeah. Like, it's nothing, it's like nothing to them already because they've been at that speed for so long already. Yeah. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So, bro, like, this is a very good list. I really appreciate that you went with the direction that you had. So I'm just gonna repeat this list, right? So we're gonna go with first one was João Pedro, to Chelsea, Diego Leon to Man United, Kelleher to Brentford, Yoon Do-young to Brighton, and Milos Kerkez to Liverpool. Before we end off, right, I'm just gonna put you on the spot here, right? Were there any that you wanted to put on but you decided like against?
There was one or two. So it was Todibo to West Ham. And then Matisse Tel to Spurs. But Matisse Tel was technically on loan, right?
On loan at Spurs already lah.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I didn't put that in. I wanted to have a bit more different choices, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Paul, your thoughts on this list?
Oh, bro, it's like super underrated list, like where all the attention is on like Cunha and Wirtz, right? Even Frimpong also, I think it's good to have a change, like, different perspective of, your normal transfers that you don't really talk about.
Yeah. That's cool, bro. Like when this is a very good list, if
it was me, we definitely talk about Wirtz and Cunha and maybe Frimpong.
Nothing to talk about. Every website, every social media platform already has information on
Yeah,
Verts
yeah.
already lah.
Yeah.
Super expensive. That's all I can say.
That's true. Okay, Ken, so with that, we conclude this episode of the Football Kaki. All right, so that is it for this week's episode of the Football Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Chatter Podcast Network. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, we just want to say thank you, and we hope that you continue to watch our other shows on the network, which are the Copy Bros every Monday, where we come together and have different interviews lined up for you. And if you like game shows, we do have the SG Draft podcast every Friday, where we come together and draft about different topics and have fun while we do it. Now, before we conclude this episode, we just want to give Joel a chance to shout out where we can find him, and of course the AOS podcast, like your Instagram and socials.
You guys are so kind. So you all can find AOS podcast on YouTube, where we post all our long form videos, interviews, and all that. If you're an impatient person, you can always go to IG, Instagram, or TikTok, where we post all the short forms there. Just go and search AOS podcast, it will just come out.
Awesome. Yeah. So with that, thank you again, Joel, for being on the podcast.
No problem. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. So to everybody, enjoy the Club World Cup. Have a great week ahead. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.